and rain.
Hi, Jessica.
Hey, Danielle. I'm so excited to be here today.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
This is my friend Jessica Alvarez. I'm used to as a different name, so
Yes.
I should remember that.
Big change.
Big changes. She's the owner of Polish and Pout, which is a beauty and bridal business. I'm here in Loomis, and she is an amazing makeup artist.
Thank you.
I don't trust a lot of people to do my makeup, but Jessica would be like one of the only people.
Yay!
I learned so much from her, and I've known her for a very long time. And it's funny because my Nana, who has now passed away, introduced us as teenagers.
Yes, you have to tell the story. This is amazing because we met on a blind date, a blind friend date.
A blind friend date from my grandma.
A setup from her grandma. Okay, so
Because we had moved back here from Ohio, and I didn't have that many friends. And my Nana was in everybody's business at church and knew everything about everybody. And so she
was
like,
an icon.
I know
she was an
this gal, and I think you guys would be great friends because she called everybody gal. So she hooked us up. I don't even remember what we did.
I honestly
think you came to our house.
I really don't remember either.
We
but
were awkward. I remember that. I don't remember.
Well, thank goodness for Nana because she knew that we'd be somehow remain connected all this time.
Because we didn't see each other for a long time, and then your ex-husband was friends or went to the same school with my friends.
Oh, is that how?
I think that's
I
Courtney.
feel like life keeps, for whatever reason, like reconnecting us.
Yes.
And I love that for us.
Obviously,
so
it was meant
it's
to be.
definitely like a pick up where we left off kind of friendship, which has been wonderful. And I do recall that once upon a time, Danielle and I did go on a really long road trip to LA.
Oh my God!
Do you remember that? I know we went to the makeup show. Like that was like a really fun big thing, and we like crashed on some random person's couch. It was definitely like peaked in our like 20s vibes, you know?
That out.
We had a good time, I swear.
No, I remember now, but I totally forgot about that. That's
we were big. We were adventurous.
We did.
Yeah.
We
went to the big city.
I remember the long
two little
drive.
country bumpkins in the big city.
Gosh. That was before you had your business, really, right?
I mean, it was like right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning. So I was in the end of my 20s. And yeah, Polish and Pout launched in 2012 is when I launched Polish and Pout. It's a good segue. And my business, originally, like I was doing business just as myself, you know, just under my name, you know. But it was kind of in that era of when blogging was a really big thing.
Yes.
And I, you know, had like my blogging era. And I wrote for a few different blogs even at the time too, which was really fun. But in my blogging era, it was like everyone had a cutesy name for their blog.
Yes.
That was the thing to do. And so mine was called Polish and Pout. And people started reviewing us, though, and Yelping us under that name. And that was my name on social media because I thought, I want my blog to get attention. And before you know it, I inadvertently launched a brand and didn't even realize it.
Just stuck. It
Yep.
works.
And everyone started calling me Polish and Pout. So
Well, you are Polish and Pout.
that's
basically.
me. Yeah.
I wanted to have you on because we reconnected. You had a vision board, a little workshop the other day.
That was so fun.
And I hadn't seen you in a little bit. And then when I saw you, I felt like something was different and I didn't know what. And then you shared a little bit about the fact that you're getting divorced or you are divorced and things have changed a lot. And I was like, that's what it is. You just feel like a little bit of like a different person right now. Not that you were bad before by any means or anything. I just felt
Okay, I'm all good
difference.
different? Or
No,
yeah.
it felt good. But I just
Good.
felt like there was something different and I didn't know what it was. And when you said that, I was like, now I get it because I have a lot of friends and clients that go through divorces around the same time, and they usually feel like they have a big burden lifted off of them, and they're a different person in a good way.
Definitely.
And I think in the past I've been like, I'm so sorry that you're getting divorced. Yes, it's sad, but also I'm very happy for you.
Yes.
Because you made the right decision for yourself, whatever other people think about. It's good for you, and you can tell that it's been your choice and
Thank you.
growing and everything else. So anyways, I just have always admired you and watched you and learned from you. And so I wanted to have you on and talk about starting over at 40.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's what you're doing again.
I know. I feel like I am in this whole. I feel like I'm going through puberty again or something. Well, I am
Minus
because
the acne,
perimenopause is on the. No, the acne's there too.
No.
You know, it is the season. I do feel like I just feel like it's not talked about a lot, but the 40s are just so transformative for
They are,
women
yes.
in so many ways, because I think we like to think that, like, all of our like best, time is behind us. But the truth is, I feel like I'm just now getting to really, really know myself
Yeah,
and
same.
understand myself.
Mhm.
And now I have the life experience and the confidence to
Mhm.
actually back up the stuff that I've planned for myself.
So true.
So I do feel like this era is a transformative era for anyone, whether divorce is on the table or not.
Mhm.
Obviously, that has been one of the hugest catalysts in my life for change over the last year. I said goodbye to a lot of things, some things I wanted to say goodbye to as I made some changes in my health, and have just, I spent my 30s really growing my business and also literally growing my family by having 2 children.
Mhm.
And I feel like as I approached 40, it was like some of that fog began to lift a little bit. And I think that sometimes those big milestone birthdays or milestone accomplishments in life can really be a big catalyst
Yes.
for self-reflection.
Yes, for sure.
And, with 40 on the horizon, I had to really acknowledge that, like, I wasn't just like young and figuring it out anymore, but that it was like,
Mhm.
no, this is the reality of your life. And are you okay with it?
Mhm.
And are you okay with how things are? And are you okay if nothing ever changes? And obviously my answer was no. I'm not okay with things staying this way, and I want to continue to grow and change. And um, you can only do that for yourself. You can't make someone else do that
Yes.
with you.
True.
So that was, another thing I had to say goodbye to last year, was realizing that my marriage had run its course, and just that I wasn't going to be okay with the way that things were. And, I know that me, and my children and just our whole family unit, that we deserve health and happiness. And, without getting into too much of the nitty gritty, I want, I strive to be just an honest, um, just person with integrity,
Yeah.
and all of the character qualities that I, list about that I want to be or that I am. I want to see that reflected in the people around me too. So that's what I
Mhm.
had to do.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes the change is the hardest part, is just taking the first step, or like falling off the cliff and you're like, oh no, what am I going to do?
Yeah, definitely.
So, what were some of those things that really pushed you to make that big choice for yourself, like emotionally or mentally? Like, what was it doing to you that you could finally realize this is not working?
I think that sometimes you have to be honest about, like, I don't know. We all have our list of excuses for why it's maybe outside of our control, or why it's like, well, I have to stay, whatever it is, whether it's a marriage or a business or a job or a friendship. We have our reasons, that keep us stuck. And I think that at some point, like, your pain or discomfort with how things are has to outweigh the fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, for me, turning 40 was like a big catalyst for that, because it was like, okay, I am literally entering my middle age era now.
Yeah.
Like, and no one ever told me that you never really feel that way on the inside. I still
Yes.
feel like
like
I'm
I'm
just,
22.
yes, I'm a teen mom. What are you talking about? Like, but yeah, I had to acknowledge that, yeah, that this was my life. And, like I said, you can only control yourself. You can only control what you can control. And so I, I think that just that, honestly, that birthday was such a big thing for me. And then I think too, being a mom, I really think that I felt it was kind of having to acknowledge that at some point you can put up with a lot yourself as an individual. But then when you realize that those things are affecting your children in really direct and obvious, tangible ways,
Mm-hmm.
that's where, for me, that was like one of my big personal lines, where it's like, oh, this isn't just, oh, I'm not getting what I need, but at least they are. It got to the point where it was like, actually, no one's getting what they need in this situation anymore. So, and I am not going to be able to be the best parent I can be unless I'm functional too. And I was watching my mental health go down the drain and my physical health go down the drain. And I just thought, enough is enough. I have to, regain control of all of that. I need to not even regain control. I think it's more just that I had spent a lot of years deprioritizing myself, thinking that was going to make things easier for my family unit.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, if almost everything's on your plate and you're deprioritizing yourself,
Yes.
how can you function?
They say you can't pour from an empty cup. And
Exactly.
It's so true. And I see women do that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that society kind of trains us to do that, but at the end of the day, it's like it's such a cliche, but it is so true. And that's kind of like one of my big, big lessons that I'm learning is how to prioritize myself in tangible ways. Because I think too, in order to not prioritize myself, I had to shut down a lot of things. I had to shut down my intuition.
Yeah.
I had to shut down even just my connection with my body even. And knowing how I feel and what I need and what's going to make me feel good, because it was I can't ask myself those questions, because if I do, the whole system's going to unravel because I don't have what I need,
Yes.
So I definitely feel over the last year, and even honestly, even just over the last 3 months, have really just been this big process of coming home to myself and just learning who I am again and reactivating those parts of my heart and my mind that I had just locked away and felt like I couldn't address. So
I feel like learning those things for yourself again is going to make you a better mom anyways, right? For your kids, because I love my parents and everything, but my mom did a lot of those same things. Yeah. And I feel sad because I look at certain relationships and I'm like, there's no way I want that. And I'm still single,
Right.
and I'm like, I know women, their bodies are completely shutting down. They get autoimmune problems,
Yes.
which technically they say come from trauma or anger or whatever, right? And I'm like, why do so many women have this?
Yeah.
Because they're still taking the huge emotional load in all of the relationships. They're ignoring themselves and all of that. And it's just hard to watch because it's sad. But I mean, you have to be self-aware of my mental health is not doing so good. And why is my body hurting all the time? Or why do I want to sleep all the time? Or why am I just eating this entire box of Girl Scout cookies or something,
Yeah. Or why am I so many moments where it's I'm crying in the shower, or you're squeezing in your meltdowns where you can,
Exactly.
Scheduled meltdown today. I do think that I think that as women that we've been doing that for a long hundreds of years probably.
Yeah.
But I do think that right now in modern times, we have this new layer on everything. Because while it has been very common in our society for women to perform the bulk of emotional labor and planning and management and things like that, keeping all of those things when it comes to marriage, relationships, whatever, even not marriage, even being let's say the oldest daughter in a family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of those same responsibilities fall on you. But I think that also now we have this layer of we were promised that we could have it all, you know what I mean? But we actually weren't really promised we could have it all. What society was really telling us is that we can do it all, and we can't. So, I mean, on top of all those things, it's also I'm running a big business and I was the sole provider and I was doing all the finances and I was paying all the bills and I was, I'm managing the budget and I'm doing the dishes and I'm changing the diapers and I'm sweeping the floors. So it was kind of there was, the division of labor was off and there wasn't that transference of, okay, well, I'll take on this, so you take on that. It was just let's keep adding more and more things to Jess's plate.
That's literally exhausting just hearing about it. I don't know how you made it. But
I did it.
You did
well,
it.
yes, I mean,
You made
yes,
it
I
through.
did. I did make it through, but that's definitely not a cycle I want to repeat, and it's also something that I'm I don't want my daughter.
Yeah.
That was something I had to really acknowledge too. I don't want my daughter to grow up thinking that she is responsible for everyone else's emotional regulation in the house.
Yes.
That she's responsible for all of the domestic labor, and she needs to be making 6 figures, and she needs to be, you know what I mean? And those were the things I was requiring of myself. And and that my partner in my life were requiring of me, but at the end of the day, we're responsible for what we sign up, what we sign up for. And I had to, I've just had to realize that I can't do that. I don't want that for my daughter and, or for my son. I don't want my son to think that he needs to be that way or that he needs to be partnered with someone who is willing to do all those things that mommy did. I'm not trying to raise that kind of man, and I just think, okay, well, if I want my children to be, critical thinkers and kind and emotionally intelligent, then like I need to make sure that I'm really living that type of balance in every area of my life as well. Because at the end of the day, your parents can tell you all the right things, but we're going to repeat what we saw. That's just what we do.
Yeah, they're modeling things for you, whether they think they are or not,
Yeah. And if you don't come up with a new system, you're always going to default to the one you were programmed with. And the one you were programmed with was probably programmed in you before you even had words to articulate what that meant.
From your mom and her mom
exactly.
and her mom.
Yeah, exactly. It's stuff that we learned as toddlers that we didn't even realize. It was part of how we view the world and how we view relationships and love and all that sort of thing.
I really feel like women right now, like 40s, 30s to 50s, like it's a new generation of women who are like, we're not okay with this stuff anymore. Like we can do everything, but also, why would we do it with somebody who's not doing it with us or supporting us or doing it themselves at all for themselves?
Matching the energy.
And like, I'd rather be single than have another child that
Amen.
I have to take care of.
Amen.
And I hear that from everybody. So I totally understand. So if you wanted to share some stuff, I asked you to like kind of think about things that you think would help other people. You had some ideas. Tell me what you would like to share with other people who are probably going through the same thing.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it just comes down to that really simple statement, and this is a cliche that we often hear as well, but just that phrase of nothing changes if nothing changes has just been really pivotal for me, because I think we know that logically. Like, you have to put in the work. And we even say that, oh, yeah, I'm putting in the work or I'm doing this and that, But at the end of the day, I think a lot of the time, at least with the problems that tend to be reoccurring in our lives or like the extended ones, whether it's, a relationship or not accomplishing a certain goal that you're trying to accomplish or whatever, a lot of really what it comes down to is that we're just kind of secretly hoping that one day we're going to wake up and things are going to be different.
Like somebody else will make the decision for me,
yes,
or I'll be pushed into it and I don't have to actually choose it.
Yes, or just like whatever our imaginary obstacle is, like, I could totally do this if whatever the if is, if I was thinner, if I had more money, if I had more energy, if I lost the weight, whatever it is, that imaginary problem that we like put on our plate, like we're kind of hoping that, it's going to solve itself or that the circumstance is going to change. And the truth is, like, you are never going to wake up and be in someone else's life.
Yeah.
Never. And you are, even if you do, even if you do make some big change, like wherever you go with you, And I just think that, our decisions are a lot of the time a level of effort and the decisions that we make are kind of, if we're being honest with ourselves, based on that hope that someday, whatever, someone will sweep into our lives and make things different for us.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, whether it's the job offer or the dream partner or whatever it is. But that's just not going to happen. You're always going to be playing with the cards that you're playing with.
Yeah.
So I just think if your habits stay the same and your environment stay the same, you stay the same, period. And I just think it's a lot easier to list the reasons why we can't do something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Than to just simply say, I'm going to choose differently today. And I think also that just the current of life, it's easy to just, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you go to work, you're tired, you go home, watch a little Netflix and go to sleep.
And then you repeat it again the same
and you
day,
repeat it the next day. Yeah.
I mean, I think in life and culture right now, it's so much easier to focus on negative things than it is to focus on positive things in your life and celebrating the wins and making changes in your life, change behaviors and thoughts. And like, you can change your thoughts, but it takes time and it takes choices
and action.
And action.
Action. That's another thing too that I think I know for me anyway, that I can really get sucked into even is equating change with like the thinking about what we want or the, you know what I mean? Like there's a million different books we can read and podcasts we can listen to and friends we can talk to and, you know, or vision boards or Pinterest boards, whatever it is. Like we can kind of like find all the information and think about it and imagine about it and stuff. And then, like I said, but our habits still be repeating our normal punch in, punch out day. And it's like, okay, well, that's like busy work. You know, that makes you feel like I'm trying. I have these big goals. I have these big dreams. Yeah. But like, be honest with yourself. Are you really? Are you changing your actions? Are you changing your habits? You know? And I think that, I don't know, it's really hard to break out of that cycle. And something I do to break out of that cycle is I ask myself, like, what, sometimes even like in a really simple moment, if I feel this level of like, what should I do, A or B? I ask myself, like, what would future me do? Or what would my higher self do? Whatever label you want to put on that. Like the version of me that's living her best life, what would she have for breakfast right now? She's feeling sad. Is she going to isolate or is she going to text someone? You know, is she going to check something off the to-do list or is she going to push it off for tomorrow? Because that question is going to answer itself really fast. Because I think, I think we can make a lot of excuses for ourselves. And this isn't saying to not listen to yourself and give yourself rest and recuperation when you need it. But it's just more about being honest with yourself, I think, about like truly the level of change and effort that you're putting in towards wanting things to be different. And it's not enough to just want it. You know?
No, you have to make a commitment to yourself to change. And every day that you do something, you're keeping that commitment to yourself. I heard somebody tell me that once. And I was like, oh, I love that because, I mean, we can say things to other people and follow through for those things, but why do we not do it for ourselves?
Exactly.
You know?
That is exactly. I literally was just telling my little kindergartner that the other day because he was asked to give a presentation in front of the school board about what he had been learning. And he was so nervous. And we got there, he said, I shouldn't have come here. I don't want to do this.
Aww.
And I was like, I know that you're capable. And he got up. He was nervous as hell, but he got up and he read his little paper about great white sharks. And he's in kindergarten and he's amazing, of course. And he did such a good job. And I told him when we left, I said, buddy, every time you say you're going to do something and you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can trust yourself. And that's really what it's about. It's not about like, the most important thing isn't other people's opinion of us honoring our word or whatever. It's about being able to honor to ourselves what we're committed to doing. Because if we're able to keep promises to ourselves, that means we can trust ourselves. And that bleeds into every single area in life, big and small. That really is
personal, everything.
Yes, everything, absolutely everything. Yeah. Like if you had a friend that promised you something and every single time she canceled, she rescheduled, she pushed it off till tomorrow, she said, never mind, let's do that next month. Would you stay friends? Probably not. Like you probably would be hella annoyed at her. Like, and you probably wouldn't want to see her anymore and you wouldn't trust her. And she wouldn't be important to you. She would be deprioritized in your life. So what do we think that does when we do that to ourselves? We subconsciously are telling ourselves how unimportant we are, how unimportant our goals and dreams are, and we're reinforcing that we're incapable rather than capable. For sure. Yeah. For sure. And I think that, I think too that a lot of the time it's really easy. You and I were just chit-chatting earlier before we recorded about how like our brains and our nervous system like doesn't want us to be happy. We think that that's what we want in life is to be happy, but we don't. We want to feel safe. That ultimately is what like we're, like evolution has wired us to think, how can I stay safe? How can I be okay? I need to be able to keep my heart beating and to keep my stomach full or whatever it is. And so that's what we do. That's why we stay stuck, because our default isn't to do the things that are going to make things better or make us happier. It's just to keep us safe. And even if the situation that you're in is not safe technically, or like not healthy or okay, you know what it is. And so because of that, you know how to deal with it, right? Like, you know how to like compensate or how to fight it or how to, how to survive it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's what you're used to, your brain is never going to naturally choose the better option because that's unknown. It's a big question mark. You don't know. Your like hardwiring doesn't know if you can survive that, but they know you can survive this. And so you stay stuck.
Comfortable is not good for you most of the time. And that's people stay in abusive
always wins out.
relationships for forever just because it's comfortable and they're used to it. Whereas change is uncomfortable and it's going to be hard.
Definitely.
And some people just don't want to do hard things.
Well, and I don't even know it's that if we don't want to do hard. Yes, we're scared. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants, of course we don't like want to labor over hard things, but I mean, it's not even like I'm not willing to put in the work. I haven't met anyone that actually says that, oh, it's too hard. No, thanks. Like most of the time it's, well, I would, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Or it just feels too scary. And so you freeze up, you lock up, and that's when it becomes, I'll start it on Monday. I'll do it on Monday. I'll tackle it next week. I'll tackle it next month, whatever it is. There's always some imaginary, again, that goes back to what we were saying earlier of like some imaginary someday where I'm going to magically wake up and I'm going to have the energy, the resources, the desire to actually take action instead of being like, well, no, the time's going to pass anyway. Like, let's check one little thing off the box right now.
And each little thing that you do pushes you to the next thing that might be harder. Because for some people, showing up to the gym is like the most stressful, intense thing that they could ever do, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then they start to do that and they do that consistently. And then they're like, I can do that. So then they do the next thing and then the next thing. And it's like a ladder to get you to where you want to be. And like for me, that's the little choices, the little things that are scary help me do the big things that are scary.
Totally. I agree. It's cumulative. And like, I just think ultimately too, that was another thing I learned is that I just had to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that like, it was that being uncomfortable doesn't equal being unsafe necessarily. And yes, we should listen to our intuition. We should listen to, those moments where things feel off. That's a real thing. I'm not saying shut that down.
Yeah.
But like, if you let your comfort determine your life, you're not going to end up where you want to. You're just not. You're not. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable, and because of that, it's like, because of that, you also have to accept that two things can be true at the same time. That like, just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean you're unsafe. Just because you feel sad doesn't mean you have no joy. Just because, two things can be true at the same time. Our feelings are not mutually exclusive. It's not check box, happy or sad or successful or unsuccessful. Yeah. Like you're allowed to be a symphony of emotion and of decision and of action. And that's like what makes life beautiful. And I think that that's definitely something I've learned over the last year too, is just that's what it means to live in integrity. If you're like, oh, that person has integrity, what do you think? I think a lot of the time we think like, oh, they're a good person. That means they're a good person.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that. It means that you have integrated all the parts of yourself. That's what it means, being whole.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what I've definitely had to unpack too over the last year is, how do I live with integrity? Okay, well, ignoring my needs, that is not living in integrity at all. It doesn't matter if I'm kind as fuck to everyone in my life. If I'm not, that is not me being a person of integrity. Like I want to be a whole person, and being able to hold space for yourself for multiple things to be true at the same time is really what it means to live in integrity, because that's letting all the parts of you coexist. And you can't just have the light. It's going to come with the shadow too. So
that was good.
Write that down, guys.
Deep.
But yeah, it's true that being able to integrate all the parts of yourself is what truly, I think, gets you to where you need to be. And I have to say, like, while I feel like the last year, especially the last 6 months, have been some of the hardest of my life and some of the darkest times and some of the saddest times, but again, going back to that, two things can be true at the same time. They've also been the most freeing, the most healing, the most rewarding. And I have had my nights where I am feeling lonely and sad, and at the same time being like, this is so peaceful.
Yeah.
I can't look at this. I'm in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks the way I want it to look. There's no dishes in the sink. Like, I know what I'm coming home to every day. I'm not responsible for anyone's feelings but my own. Like, how amazing is this, you know? And then at the same time be like, damn, I'm by myself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
They can both exist.
Yeah. I mean, people tell me that all the time. You have to be content and then you'll find somebody or whatever. I'm like,
That's
I am,
yeah.
but also sometimes I get lonely. I totally love my life, but sometimes I get lonely.
Yeah, I hate that advice that like, oh, you just need to love yourself or it'll come when you no. Oh my gosh. That is a great example of two things can be true.
Right.
You can be a kick-ass person, you can be doing all the right things and you can be thrilled with your life and with your decisions and with your relationships and still want a partner. That is okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Those two things can exist at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were those the three things was that the third one already?
That was,
yeah. So fast.
We naturally just went through it all. Yeah. Those
so
are
easy.
things.
No, just kidding. I don't know I know you just went on a retreat. I don't know if that's like too long to talk about in the next like 8 minutes.
8
Do you have
minutes
anything
to not,
you want to share about
you know,
that?
I'm glad you brought up the retreat because I do think that would be a good thing to touch on here.
It looked amazing.
Just, it was incredible. But I think that, you know, I have done a lot of, and this is not like me tooting my own horn or anything, but I do think it's really important to like point out some of the stepping stones along the way that like get us on a path, keep us on a path of healing, that get us somewhere else, because we've talked a lot about staying motivated and all this sort of thing, but what are the actual steps? Well, obviously they're going to be different for everyone. Yeah. But for me, like I have really, really, really put my money where my mouth is. And my literal money and like my time and my energy has all gone towards this because I did not like, you know, file for divorce and immediately hop on Tinder and like that. No, I want to unpack. I want to unravel this. I want to figure this out. I do not want to repeat patterns. And I was doing calculation the other day, and in the last like 4 months, I have invested $10,000 in my personal and professional development. Nice. And for some people that might sound like an astronomical amount of money, and for other people that might sound like nothing because, you know, finances are very subjective. But for me, that was a big investment. Yeah, that's definitely more money than I've ever invested because, again, always deprioritizing myself, always finding a way to just DIY and bootstrap it because ultimately, if I was honest I would always say, I didn't have the money. But if I was honest with myself, I didn't think I was important enough to pay for. That's really what it came down to. And so for me, it's meant going to therapy. It's meant, you know, signing up for that wellness retreat, that women's wellness retreat that was so transformative to me. It means experiencing other modalities of healing. I mean, like I've been doing sound baths and holotropic breath work. And I mean, just so many, shout out to Michelle. She's amazing. Just so many things that and also like I'm, you know, redone my, in the middle of a rebrand right now. My website is getting totally overhauled. Like I'm putting in the work and the time and the money, and I'm getting help from other people who, you know, rather than being like, let me figure this out myself, I am getting help. I'm getting help. I got on medication a year ago.
Too.
Yay!
Best decision ever.
Yes. I think I always expected myself that like, you should just be better than this. You should just work harder. You should figure it out yourself. And it's like, no, actually you can't. You can't figure it all out yourself. And sometimes you need a little bit of help. And, you know, if I recently sprained my ankle, but it was really bad. But like, I wouldn't just expect the ankle to continue to work properly. Like sometimes you need the medicine, you need to wrap it, you need to do whatever you need to do, and like
you need to rest it. Maybe.
Yes, exactly, all those things. And so that happens with us too when it comes to the process of change. It's like sometimes we need help. Yeah, and that's definitely something that I've done, and I have intentionally, even when I have wanted to just curl up in a ball and cry and sleep for months at a time. Part of me just can't do that because I'm a mom, but I have just said, no, I'm gonna put that lunch on the calendar. I'm gonna say yes to the big scary things like being on the podcast or whatever. Like I'm saying yes. Yeah. I'm saying yes to all those things. And I think that, it has been a sacrifice of my money and of my time and of my effort. And yes, Maui was so transformative. The wellness retreat was amazing. And what was so cool, definitely too much to touch on. We'll have to have a whole nother episode about that. But what was crazy is that when I saw this, like, picture for the retreat on, thanks to the good old Instagram algorithm. And I saw it and I was like, I'm supposed to go to that. And I just knew that I was supposed to go to that. And I definitely was. I feel like so much healing happened on that island. And oh my gosh, yeah, so much healing happened. And I just got to say, I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for me. Like, I want to thank me.
Yeah,
What's that? Like?
Yeah. Well, and
Yes.
didn't you do that by yourself? Did you go with friends?
I did,
Or
yeah.
you went alone? You did solo. You didn't know anybody there.
Yeah, I did go alone. I did find out that one of my former brides was going on the retreat. So she and I knew each other in that capacity, and in the more of a professional capacity. But when I found out she was going, I was like, oh, that's confirmation. Like, I'm supposed to go. And that was lovely too, because now she and I have been able to grow our friendship in a different way too. And I feel like there's just something so beautiful that happens when everyone shows up with vulnerability and with the desire for growth and change. It's literal magic. I mean, everyone that showed up there was like instantly like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've known them forever. We've been friends forever. And we're actually hopping on a Zoom call tonight to all catch up and stuff. And I'm just excited to see where those relationships go, because that's another thing too, is like your healing is not going to happen in isolation. It's going to happen in community. And so do the uncomfortable thing and reach out, make the plans, have the lunches, go on the retreats, have the coffee dates, pick up the phone, make that phone call, because you can't do it by yourself. And also, like, your vulnerability and your transparency is going to encourage that in other people.
You have to cultivate your own community, and sometimes you have to break up with people and things that you're doing that aren't working anymore, or those people aren't growing in the same way. And that can be really hard, but I think sometimes it's an important step when we are more self-aware of, like, when I hang out with this person, I don't feel good about myself anymore, or all we do is go out and drink and party or whatever. I'm like, that was cool maybe 20 years ago. Maybe not 20, I would have been 20. But, like, that's what we did. And, like, sometimes you need to be more vulnerable and get deeper with your friends around you so that you have a different level of friendship. Like, some of the best friendships I have now are we just tell each other, bro, you were being rude to me, or you hurt my feelings. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And not taking it personally, but I'm being vulnerable. She's being vulnerable. Like, we're sharing. We're talking about what we're working on. Like, that's
reciprocity.
It's not easy to do sometimes, but that's. I don't want superficial friendships anymore in relationships. I have so much of that, like work, which I love, but at the same time, sometimes I'm like, I know so many people. I have lots of friends. Yeah. But my circle now is a little bit smaller and a little tighter, and I feel better about it.
And I think that that's good. Yeah, I definitely think that building community doesn't mean it has to be so extensive. It's more about the depth than the breadth.
Yeah.
And I think definitely, though, that being in community, though, does also, just like change, require effort.
Yes.
And it requires being uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, I had to make dates, too. I'm trying to make dates at least once a month with friends where I'm, why does it just get away with something? I haven't seen you in 4 months. Or whatever, like, you're my best friend and I do your hair every 6 weeks and that's it. Like, that is not what I want my friendships to be.
Totally.
So I have to put in the effort, and I have to put it on my calendar and stop being lazy about it and be like, hey, let's
And
go.
be okay with being uncomfortable. Being like, yep, I'm going to have to put on pants today. I feel like 2020 kind of just like ruined us for a lot of that too, is because we all crave community. But a lot of the time, we're not okay with with the discomfort that comes with community. And building community is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to mean sacrifice sometimes. It's going to mean showing up sometimes and doing things that maybe aren't the top of your list. But that's where that beautiful feedback loop of love starts to happen in your life, because you're putting it out there and it's coming back to you. Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we could have like 19 more episodes of something.
We'll see you next week. Just kidding.
But tell people where they can find you if they want to follow you.
Yes. Please find me on Instagram at Polish and Pout. All one word, Polish and Pout. That is my handle on absolutely everything. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. You can see my lovely brides and work, and
good.
you also can see my funny jokes.
I saw a video you made the other day. I was like, oh, she's funny.
I'm in my comedy era, you guys. Yeah, I guess that's one of my funny bones back. So
Well, that's good.
you can watch my personal journey unfold on there.
No, I can already see it, like just a little bit, and I didn't even know that it was going on. I was like, something's different. I don't know what it is. But yes, thank you for being on here, and I'm sure we'll have you back again. And hopefully people can like start sharing more. So I enjoy doing this, but it doesn't make any money. It don't have that big of an audience. But I feel like if we just share normal people's stories, it helps encourage somebody else.
Yes.
And that's kind of really all I want to do, whether it's starting a business or going to therapy and talking about your shit. I don't know. Whatever it is encouraging. I get encouraged by talking.
I am too. Yeah. Like I said, transparency, it produces more transparency. So I'm glad that you're doing this too. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.